This is National Review Online. We're joined by Dino Rossi, the U.S. Senate candidate in Washington State. Great to have you here, Dino. So tell us why you jumped into this race this spring, and you're running against Patty Murray. Where is she vulnerable, and what do you hope to bring to this race?
Well, I tell you, I'm running against Patty Murray, who's number 4 in leadership in their 18 years, number 3 in earmarks, a budget writer, and voted for every spending bill that's come down the path since 2004. Quite frankly, bankrupting America. My state has about over 17% functional unemployment rate. You know, you're talking about the people who are unemployed and getting employment insurance, and the ones that have given up, and the computer experts that are delivering pizzas. Right now, people are worried about making the mortgage and feeding the kids. And we announced about 4 weeks ago. Well, the day we announced, Patty Murray had 10,000 people on her Facebook fan page, and that's how we communicate with our volunteers. And we passed her in 48 hours. We doubled that in 6 days. We're going to triple it here shortly. Right behind Marco Rubio and Rand Paul on Facebook, and it's been remarkable. I mean, Rasmussen just had a poll a couple days ago. We're at 47-47. And my races for governor, has really allowed me to have almost the same name ID as the incumbent. But the positives are higher, negatives are lower, and we're going to compare and contrast what she's done with what we want to do. The problems that we see right now are, when our bankers, the Chinese, and last time I checked, they were communists, they're telling us we're spending too much money. It's clear that we're on a fiscal cliff. But Patty Murray and leadership, they're just going to keep going over the top of that cliff. We can't do that. This is morally reprehensible what we're giving to our children and grandchildren, which is the bill. This wasn't what I was planning on doing. This is not what I was directing, but it's what needs to be done. In the end, my wife, a beautiful wife of 23 years, and the greatest blessing in my life, and we have 4 wonderful children between 9 and 19, and she, I was worried about her and the kids and all this, and she said, I appreciate you're worried about us, but you also have to look at this on a different level. What kind of country we're going to give our children. You're actually in a position to go do something about this, so if you're willing to do it, I'm willing to support you 100%. So here I am. When you think about my background and that piece, why my grandparents came from Italy through Ellis Island, worked their way across America, and my grandfather ended up in the coal mines of Black Diamond, Washington, over 100 years ago. You go to the museum, my grandpa's 2-man saws up on the wall. My dad was a Seattle public school teacher. I'm the youngest of 7 kids raised on a school teacher salary, and I went through college. I worked my way through college as a janitor, waxing floors at the Space Needle, and then after that, I got in the commercial real estate business. I started with a $200 car and $200 in the bank, nowhere to go but up. Took a janitorial job at night so I could sell commercial real estate during the day. And a year and a half later, I was 25 years old. I bought my first apartment building and kept going from there. And eventually,
that's a great point. Why is it important to be a businessman, and why do we need more business-minded people in the U.S. Senate?
Well, because I look through it through a different lens. I've actually signed the front side of a paycheck. I've actually had to pay employees when I knew I didn't have enough money left for my own family. They wouldn't come back again the next week, so you knew you had to do those sorts of things. It's a different lens to look through. Every time that they raise taxes, or people like Patty Murray and her friends Harry and Nancy, raise taxes, they're taking it from the wealth-creating, job-creating sector of society and putting it into temporary government jobs. This is killing the economy. The health care bill alone. The health care bill alone, you're talking about a $500 billion tax increase. It cost the Boeing company in my state $150 million, just that one company. If you replicate it across the businesses in my state, you're talking about tens of thousands of jobs that will be killed or not created because of Patty Murray's 60th and deciding vote. Someone that comes from a business background actually understands how this interaction works. For businesses to flourish, you need low taxes and predictable regulation. We don't have either one of those things right now. And that's what's going to pull us out of this, is we got to make sure that entrepreneurs can be entrepreneurs again. And, that American dream, that piece that allowed me to be successful, that my grandparents came here for, is slipping away, and people sense that. Which is why, I think we're doing so well, because people know that narrative. They also know the narrative that I was elected to the state senate, and as a budget writer, I faced one of the largest deficits the state had ever seen, and I balanced the budget without raising taxes and still protected the vulnerable. I ended up receiving the first annual Defender of Liberty Award from the Evergreen Freedom Foundation for being the architect of the most fiscally conservative budget ever written in my state. I also received 6 different awards from the development of the disabled community for doing what I said I would do by protecting their funding. Proving that you'd be fiscally conservative and still have a social conscience. Those things are not mutually exclusive. I did it. So a lot of folks in my state are going, you know what? They could probably use a little bit of that back in D.C. So we're finding tremendous support, but all around the country, too. People can go to DinoRossi.com if they want to help out. We'd love to have your help and input.
Thanks a lot, Dino.
Well, thank you.